Have you ever just stopped and wondered, what would it feel like to be the last of your kind? I mean, really think about it. To be the final, living chapter of a story that's millions of years old. Right now, thousands of species are facing that exact reality. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into what that really means and why it's a tipping point we absolutely cannot afford to ignore.
I know, it's a heavy question, isn't it? Because this isn't just about losing some animal or plant. No, it's about a permanent silence where there used to be life. It's like a thread being pulled from this incredible, vibrant tapestry of our planet, and it's gone forever. The stakes, they really couldn't be any higher.
All right, so to really get a handle on what's happening, we've got to make sure we're all on the same page with the language. You know, what are scientists actually talking about when they use a phrase like on the brink of extinction?
Okay, so an endangered species, think of it like a species that's basically on life support. Its numbers have dropped so low that it's facing a very real, very serious risk of just vanishing completely. Now, the key thing here is that it's not gone yet, but man, it is dangerously close.
And this is the final stop, extinction. It is the absolute point of no return. It means a one-of-a-kind form of life is gone, forever, not just from a forest or an ocean, but from the entire planet. There are no do-overs, no second chances.
Right. So a species doesn't just, wake up one morning and find itself on the endangered list. It's almost always a gradual slide, a slow journey down what you could call a ladder of risk. Let's actually take a look at the steps on that ladder.
You can kind of think of this whole thing as a warning system, right? So a species might start out at special concern. This is where the alarm bells are just beginning to chime. If things don't get better, they slip to threatened. Now at this point, becoming endangered is the very next stop unless something changes fast. From there, it's endangered. We're talking the final flashing red alert before that irreversible last step, extinct. And with every single step down that ladder, our window of opportunity to actually do something about it just gets smaller and smaller.
So the big question is, what's pushing all these species down the ladder in the first place? What's driving this massive decline? And we're talking about a decline that many scientists say is happening hundreds of times faster than it should be. The answers? Well, unfortunately, they almost always point right back at us.
So what's really behind all this? Well, it pretty much boils down to these 5 main culprits. We're talking about everything from the destruction of their homes to the poisoning of their world. These threats are huge, and even though they all look a little different, they've got one big thing in common. They're mostly caused by human activities.
Let's zoom in on the number one cause, habitat loss. I want you to just imagine for a second that someone came and bulldozed your house, your local grocery store, your entire neighborhood. That is exactly what we're doing to countless species when we clear a forest for farmland or pave over a wetland for a new city. We are literally taking away the world they need to exist.
And then, layered on top of everything, you've got climate change. It's a massive disruptor. And look, it's not just about things getting a little bit warmer. It's about changing the fundamental rules of the game for an ecosystem. It's about messing with food supplies, melting the ice that animals rely on, and whipping up weather so extreme that entire habitats are just completely changed, sometimes overnight.
And this is where all these big, abstract threats become very, very real. Look at the woodland caribou. It's losing its forest home because of logging. The polar bear is literally watching its hunting grounds, the sea ice, melt from under its paws. And the monarch butterfly? For them, it's the disappearance of a single type of plant, milkweed, that puts their entire incredible migration at risk. It just goes to show you how personal and specific these huge problems can be for each species.
Okay, so at this point, maybe you're thinking, wow, this is really sad, but in the grand scheme of things, does losing one type of butterfly or one caribou really matter? And that's a fair question. The answer? Yeah, it matters a whole lot.
I want you to think about an ecosystem like a really complex, intricate machine. Every single species, it doesn't matter how big or small, is like a tiny gear in that machine. Now, what happens when you pull one of those gears out? Well, the whole machine can start to sputter, maybe even break down completely. Losing just one species can set off a chain reaction all the way up and down the food web. So protecting them isn't just about saving cute animals. It's about preserving biodiversity. That's the variety of life, which is basically the secret sauce that keeps our planet's ecosystem strong and able to bounce back from problems.
And you know what? The impact goes way beyond just the science of it all. For so many people, a species is woven right into the fabric of their culture.
Just think about the absolutely vital role that salmon play for many indigenous cultures right here in Canada, or how the polar bear has become this powerful symbol for the entire Arctic. When we lose a species, we're not just losing an animal, we can also be losing a piece of our own human story.
Okay, I get it. This can all feel really overwhelming. It's a lot. But listen, this next part is maybe the most important part of this whole explainer. It is not a hopeless situation. Not at all. There are real, tangible things every single one of us can do to be part of the solution.
And we're not talking about things that are just for governments or giant organizations. These are actions for all of us. Supporting parks and protected areas, that helps save habitats. Cutting back on our waste and conserving energy, that directly tackles pollution and climate change. Even something as simple as planting native species in your backyard, like that milkweed for the monarchs, can create a critical food source. And maybe the most powerful thing of all? Just learning about this stuff and then sharing what you know with the people around you.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. We've walked through the science, we've looked at the causes, and we've talked about solutions. Now, it gets personal. Why is protecting these species important to you? And even more than that, what's one single thing, big or small, doesn't matter, that you could do to help turn this tide? Now that's something worth thinking about.